everyone, and welcome back to Marketing Automation Made Simple. This is Jovana, your host, and I'm super excited to be recording this episode as I'm back in Australia. I finally returned from my glamorous trip, which I already explained in my previous episode. But I am also excited to have my colleague and twin sister Milena join me and help me record this episode together, since it's been a long time since we had a good conversation about this as well. And what we wanted to talk to you about is something that I've been talking to at least 5 different people this week in my one-on-ones with different businesses. They're both large and small businesses with different complex sales and marketing systems. And these are all the questions that I tend to ask them about their business in order to help us create a marketing automation strategy. And so this is all about the top questions that you can ask yourself in your business before you start designing your sales funnels. And Milena is going to help me by asking me some of the questions, and I can easily explain, because I think it's easier than talking to a computer myself. Hey, Milena.
Hi, Jovana. Welcome back. Welcome back from your travels. I'm sure you're refreshed to be back and talk about marketing automation. So I wanted to ask you, Jovana, I'm just going to pretend that I don't know anything about marketing automation, even though we work together, because I think some of the listeners too, who are listening to this podcast, may also be a bit confused about what marketing automation is and how it can help their business. So I am here just to ask you some basic questions, and hopefully it will help them understand this space better. Okay, so I think a lot of listeners would be wondering, what is a sales funnel? So they might hear this word thrown around a lot. So how would you explain what a sales funnel is to our listeners?
The easiest explanation I can give you is a sales funnel is a process where you take a lead, a stranger, and convert them into a customer. And then there is a process within that process where you need to also understand how that lead gets in contact. How do they find you? What happens before they make a purchase? What happens during the phase, as in your discussions with them, the process on around selling products and services to that lead, making offers, and then closing the lead and finally signing up a new customer or a client in your business. I say customer or a client because different businesses will have different terminologies. So if you're an e-commerce business, you'll most likely be thinking about customers. And if you are in a B2B business, you'll call them clients. So the process is still the same. You still need to have a sales funnel. You need to have an ability to attract the leads and convert those leads into customers. And that would be the simplest way I can explain that in layman terms.
Do you think all businesses should have sales funnels, or are there some businesses that might not need to have a sales funnel?
Well, I think by nature, if you are running a business, you effectively need to have a sales funnel. And sales funnels have been around since day one, since we started to trade. And probably before the actual money started to exchange, we had different systems of exchanging, bartering with each other. So if you have something to offer to someone who really needs your service, you will definitely have a sales funnel. And where it started to get really big and popular is in the online world. And the digital marketing space is flooded with these terminologies and different terminologies that a lot of businesses can get confused around hearing this. And even marketing automation, that type of word, can confuse a lot of business owners, because now we are introducing technology into this business philosophy or business terminologies that we are used to. And sales funnels can be as simple as, here's the product, here's the transaction, like just 1-2 steps in your process, or it could be as complicated. It just depends on your sales cycle in the business, which is why we spend a lot of time asking questions about your business, about your sales and marketing strategies before we even start talking about marketing automation or technology or CRMs or platforms. So yeah, just perfect example I have is we had a lady just recently. I spoke to a lady who is launching her online course, an online program. She already has multiple different products, but she's worked with 2 or 3 different marketing automation specialists, and she still doesn't have that clear a strategy or an overview of how this process works in her business. So this is the challenge that we find is that if you start to work with the technology straight away, you're going to lose yourself in the tech because there's a lot of systems thinking that you need to employ and logic that you need to employ in designing sales funnels when it comes to technology. So the 80% of your time should really be around your business and what is really the process that you want for your ideal customers.
Is this something that business owners should think about before doing their website, or think about sales funnels at the startup stage, or more established businesses should consider thinking about their sales funnels?
Yes, we have there are different needs. I guess when you're starting out and you have a new business, it's a different problem compared to the problems that we see with larger companies. But ultimately, the problem that we are solving using marketing automation is nurturing, follow up, and conversion. And so these 3, I guess, steps in your sales process are critical. As they say, the sale is in the follow up. Sometimes customers don't buy when you want them to buy. They buy on their own time when they're ready. When you have a special promo, there may be because there is a special need. So we want to use this technology in a smart way to understand the behaviors, these buying behaviors before they make the decision, and try and have some kind of idea, a better idea about our customers or leads before we make offers to them. I think having a smaller business or even bigger, let's talk about bigger business, the biggest, I guess, of all is Apple. And Apple has a very simple product structure, very simple sales process. And compare that with somebody who might be starting out, they usually try to overcomplicate things. And this is very prevalent in online space, where we see a lot of different coaches and consultants. They tend to create products because information products are quite easy to make compared to physical widgets that you can create. And so once it's easy to create, you still need the same amount of effort and energy to sell those products. And you really want to think about really clearly about that product market fit. Who is this product for? And do you have the audience already asking for those things?
Should a startup basically think about their sales funnel? Is this good for a startup, someone just starting out with their going online, or is it more for an established type of business? And I think you've mentioned that it's for growing for already established big businesses, but it also is useful to know for a startup to start thinking about the sales funnels and how their leads are coming into their world and how they're converting to customers.
This is all relevant for any business. Whether you're a startup, you need a simple funnel. Whether you're an established business, you need to remove or eliminate complexity within your sales and marketing processes so that you can streamline it. And then you can use automation to amplify that. So that's where we would spend most of our time. And this is why we ask certain questions of our clients before they start to implement any sales funnels.
What type of questions would you ask normally when someone approaches you and wants to work with you?
Well, the biggest one is really just about trying to identify where do they have a marketing strategy? Do they have a sales strategy? Some simple questions like, what products do you have available to offer today? And you'll be surprised that people tend to actually research this. They don't even know how many products they have in their business. And so these questions is trying to ask and provoke some thinking around their business objectively, so they can start thinking objectively about their business. Then we ask, how are your products cross-sold or upsold? We want to know the current situation, what is happening today in their business. Do you have anything in place that increases the customer lifetime value besides customers deciding to come back for more? This means that if you are an e-commerce business, you're most likely selling one thing to one customer. And the goal really is to increase that frequency and to ask customers to come back to buy from you. So that's one way to increase the lifetime value. But the other ways are to introduce new products and new offerings so that customers do come back and purchase from you. And that could be with information type of products that you can complement, or you might run some workshops and experience type of workshops if you are running an e-commerce brand, or if you are in the sales service type of B2B type of business, you might want to start thinking about complementary product offerings that you can then start increasing the lifetime value of your customers. And then I think the biggest one that we want to know is, what are your top selling products and what are your worst selling products, and why that is the case. Usually, if you are in the service type of or B2B environment, you may not think about your service as a product, but essentially that's what it is. You're selling a product that could be a solution that you're selling to someone. You might have a few different solutions, and you want to find out what is the worst selling and what is the best selling product. The other thing we want to know is the visitors that come in contact. So Google Analytics is really a great place to start, where you can look at all the sources of traffic, anyone that comes in contact with your website. You can see how people find you. You could even track conversions in Google Analytics. You could actually track and see how many people actually send an inquiry, how many people book a meeting with you, how many people purchase from you. So you could actually see all that data. Where it doesn't, what data it's missing is actually missing the customer information, which is where you have that sitting in the CRM or a marketing automation platform. So that data then becomes the goal for any marketer. If you want to win, or if you want to know what the holy grail of marketing is, you want to know exactly how this customer bought from you, where they came from. All of that information can sit in the CRM. And just some simple basic things we have is, just when I say basic, this is also still very hard for people to do when they start to look at and start to gather this information, which is, how many customers do you have in your business? How many customers do you have in your business? And if you had a CRM, you would definitely have some kind of idea. But if you didn't have a CRM, you would have to go through your Google or email, Gmail, whatever you use. You would need to go through your calendar. You would need to go through your notes. That information can be sitting everywhere. Sometimes we have people holding this information in a spreadsheet, which is great. That means you are pretty much a smaller minority, but still you're doing much better than most people that we meet. And also, if you do upgrade to technology like CRM and start putting that information in, you will be surprised how much your life will be better, especially if you're a salesperson. We also want to know how many people buy just once from you, or like one-off product. And that's important because we want to start putting some marketing automation funnels, or sales funnels, I should call them. We should start putting some sales funnels together to encourage people and introduce them to other products that you have. And the other important question we want to ask is, do you do any email marketing? Do you send emails? If you are doing that, how often? And what is the current statistics? What are you getting in terms of open rates, click-through rates, etc.? There is also questions around your ideal customer. And this is what I find most revealing when we talk to other businesses, is that once they pick their ideal customer, we would actually imagine this customer walking through their business, calling their business, and imagining them buying from them, and also talking to a salesperson or transacting online, and then imagining them sitting in our database, and what else should they be doing next, and how do we get them to come back and buy from us once more. The other big one, I have so many questions, eh? So the other big one is resistance. What resistance do people have in buying from you, from your business? This is really important if you want to create a lead magnet. Maybe we can do another episode about lead magnets, but if there are certain objections that you get regularly from leads, sometimes when I talk to different B2B or service type of businesses, they'll always say, oh, everyone just wants to find out the quote or find out how much it costs. Well, you could have an opt-in or a way to share that information where you ask for their email address, their phone number, and you said, okay, we'll send you the quote, but you need to give us this information so that you could then follow up, because most of the time people will just get that information and they'll just, forget about it, or they'll read it once. They'll get distracted. They might have 4 or 5 different tabs opened. They might get a phone call and they'll forget about this quote or this price list or whatever you sent them. So we need a way to bring them back. And so one way to do it is if you use marketing automation, you'll be able to know exactly, and you'll be able to notify your sales teams to follow up with those leads and customers that don't take any action. What else? We also want to know some financial information, especially around calculating the return on investment for their marketing automation. And that return on investment can translate into the bottom line revenue increase, which we normally see on average with a lot of businesses, about 30%. Especially in the e-commerce space, you can see that physically translating into your revenue numbers. And then if you are in the service business, you will see that you have so much time, free time, to then serve more customers and then indirectly increase your sales figures that way. And other thing we would also, of course, want to know is, and this is where a lot of people get stuck, is the financial side, which is, how do you calculate the value of your subscriber? What is the average order of a customer for you? What percentage of customers buy just once? What percentage of customers buy again? How much time do you spend sending quotes? What is the lifetime value of a customer? I mean, we could do so many different episodes just around these types of metrics that every business should really follow if they do their marketing. And that's just the beginning.
Do all the business owners who approach you and want to work with you, do they have the answers to all these questions, would you say?
But most businesses that we work with would have some idea, but they don't actually keep a record of that information anywhere. So if you have an e-commerce business, that's always easy because Shopify and WooCommerce gives you some kind of data that you can work off. But then defining exactly who is a lead and qualifying that lead so that it does fit your, the service, the solution that you might be selling. Most of that we don't get to see in the service or B2B type of business. So qualifying leads is very important because you don't want your sales staff to be wasting time on bad leads that are coming in. Yeah, it's really surprising to see people fill out the whole document. Sometimes they really struggle, especially that metrics financial section of a document.
Do you help them complete the questionnaire, I guess, if they're stuck on it?
This is more about assessing their current situation. So the next step would be to clarify all those questions through a workshop. I would normally workshop with them over Zoom. And during that process, we'll find out more information. We'll direct them as to where they can find all the data that's missing. And also most of this data might be something that you start to see during your time of implementing a project. So once we set up a CRM solution for somebody, they will start to see that information sitting in the dashboards, and then it will be almost like, why didn't I have this before? This is like a no-brainer for us to have as a business. Once we set it up, sometimes clients can have instant, immediate kind of result, which is imagine yourself, just a simple scenario where you might be manually booking all of your leads. If you're a service-based business, you're getting phone calls, you're getting emails, and you're manually putting that into your calendar. And then you're manually trying to follow up, and you're manually adding tasks across. once you automate that process, that could be like 10 hours just there. You could save yourself. And then you start to see that impact as the result of a capacity. So you can be serving customers, more customers that you probably could not have served before. And you get to spend more time with your family, and, you have your weekends back. And then the other results are in the nurturing space. All the businesses will benefit from that, especially if you are in the e-commerce space. You don't really get to have that close relationship with the customer. If you are always selling things on the website, you don't necessarily talk to your customers, or you don't know them by their first name. Sometimes you do, but you simply rely on their goodwill to come back, and your brand. Hopefully, you hope they will come back. But if you had the e-commerce solution, then you might actually have automation set up to bring those customers back and come back and purchase from you. So that becomes like another resource in your business. It's another assistant that you can rely on.
It's a system, basically, that you've set up. So sales funnels, in a way, is a system for converting leads to customers. These are all the questions that people will need to think about before setting up their sales funnels, before even introducing the sales funnels. As you said, we have to think about the process, how the lead becomes, how this lead comes into your world, and then what we do to convert them into a customer.
Yes, I'm glad you brought up the word system, because we are building a marketing growth system. So I find that it's really hard to look at your business in isolation of every single things that happen in the business. So we really have to look at everything. We have to look at we have to do a deep dive of your sales, your marketing, your operations, and find opportunities where we could automate certain things and then scale that, or help you scale that using technology, and find the right technology to do that. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it is very systematic in the way you think about your sales process.
Can I ask just one more question? What would be a sales funnel for bumper leads? What's an example of one sales funnel for bumper leads? How do people hear about bumper leads, and what is the step when somebody gets in touch with bumper leads?
Everything is automated. Well, I always say, how much automation do you need in your business? You don't want to automate everything. So there are parts where it's considered high touch. But a basic, very simple sales funnel is, if you go to our website, there is a exit pop-up, and we offer 30 tasks you can do in your business using marketing automation that will save you over 10 hours a week. So once you enter that information, you'll go into a series of nurturing emails. And those emails are not designed to be over-the-top salesy. It's more about sharing more information, our case studies, who we are, just a bit about us, and maybe talking about a single biggest, objection they might have before they sign up or work with us. So once we address those things, then you don't really have to have a very long nurturing process. You could have something set up for a year, but ours probably lasts about 2 weeks. And then from there on, it's really just about nurturing based on behaviors that are triggered, or the behaviors that haven't been triggered. So there are certain automations that find out how long this lead has not been spoken to or been engaged. And we want to be able to follow that up, whether that is via email. An automation might just trigger an internal notification to a salesperson to follow up. So there are certain parts that are automated, especially the admin side. And there are certain parts that customers may see, and some customers or leads may not see what is automated in our business.
Yep, that's right. And it's just an example of a simple sales funnel for us. And you would also keep that information about your leads that are coming into the database. You keep that in the CRM. So it's not just about nurturing, but also retaining that data and helping you learn more about who this lead is, what their business is about. Are they a good quality lead or not?
Yes, we would keep all the information in our CRM, and it would be forming, a story about that customer or a lead that comes in contact. So we can build a bit of a story, an idea of who they are. We also have ability to see where they come from. So we have an integration with Google Analytics and some data externally that we can say and attribute this particular lead to a specific social media post or a specific article that's on the website.
And this is exactly what we set up for clients too.
Yes.
Exact same process. You get a lead magnet, then you get added to the database, you get nurtured. And if you have an e-com store, you might even see some sales. If you're a coach, then you will see some bookings at that point at the nurture step. So yeah, this is very good, Jovana. Thank you for explaining to us about sales funnels and the questions that the business owners need to ask before they start creating sales funnels and what is involved. And I can see there's a lot involved in creating sales funnels.
There is, and I think it's always easier to talk to somebody about it. If you are kind of stuck in the weeds and you're stuck in the business, trying to figure it out on your own, you need someone objectively to come in and look at it and help you. Sometimes I feel, Milena, when you and I are brainstorming about our processes and our, what else we could automate in our business, I wish like we could find someone like us to look at our business and go, you guys really need to do this here. You need to add this particular, if you change something about your sales process, then you could be doing so much better. It is so much easier to get that information externally than to come up with it yourself, trying to figure it out.
You need those fresh eyes to look at your systems, your processes, the whole operation of your business.
And we have some solutions, for people who want to do this for themselves. We have a course and we have some kind of coaching. We can help them. We can coach them through the process through Marketing Automation Made Simple course that we have. You can go on our website, bumperleads.com, to have a look at it. It's started with an e-commerce angle because it's probably the most easiest to understand. But we have also added some service-based type of questions that people can ask themselves. There is also a quiz that I forget to to share. There's a marketing automation ROI quiz that you can do. And is it a quiz? It's more like a calculator, not a quiz. You have to kind of know your numbers. That's where I think most people get stuck. But if you went through that quiz or a calculator, you'll be able to learn more about the type of return on investment you can have for your business. And I'll include the link in the show notes because I think we keep changing it. And sometimes we share it, and sometimes we share it privately, sometimes we share it publicly. We'll also be doing this type of setup for YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be publishing a lot more YouTube videos around marketing automation strategy.
Yes, I've just found the link, sorry, while you were talking there. So it's bumperleads.com/quiz. And that's a short link that listeners can use and go straight to the questionnaire, the survey, that short survey that you ask, the quiz, which you said it's more like a calculator, and we keep calling it a quiz.
I can't pronounce calculator.
So go to bumperleads.com/quiz and you'll see what Jovana was talking about just earlier. Another question for you, Jovana, I have is, can you share an example of what happens when a business owner doesn't have a sales funnel in their business? How does it affect them?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I have, I guess, a personal example now when we were traveling. And as a tourist, you're always in a new location, you're learning new things. And I found it now that I seem to always work on in sales funnels and designing different sales funnels for clients. I find now that when I go somewhere, I expect some kind of customer service or some kind of experience to always be the way I would imagine it to be. Just a simple one that we had in Greece. When we were in Greece, you would sit there to order a coffee. You get the coffee, but the waiter or waitress doesn't ask you about what else you would like. That's that cross-sell or upsell. Would you like some chips with that? Not chips with coffee, but would you like a glass of water? Would you like some dessert, a muffin, whatever you could upsell to your customer? And every time we receive this order, then we go, oh, we should have asked about this. So then we had to retrain ourselves to be more prompting, to prompt our waiters and waitresses as to what we want to get, as opposed to relying on them. And that may be not just because, there could be the fact that there is a language barrier and, they may not be able to phrase things in certain way, but it was interesting to learn the concepts of sales funnels when they don't work, how your customer might be thinking, what they might be thinking about, and what more they, and this is where you could ask questions of your customers. We know that a lot of customers that we meet, of our clients that we meet, they don't run surveys, and that's a simple customer survey that you could learn more about your customers and what else they would want to buy from you.
Or how they heard about you.
Yes.
That could be the first step, where should I focus my marketing on? If they heard about you from Facebook, from a Facebook ad or word of mouth, you then decide how you're going to do your marketing, where it's best to do your marketing.
Yeah, where you could spend your money, your marketing dollars on more to amplify that. But yeah, surveys are very powerful in helping you design really good and unique sales funnels for your business.
Thanks, Jovana. That was really great. Thanks for talking about sales funnels. And I hope listeners were able to get something out of this episode and think about their own sales funnels. And if they get stuck, they should definitely get in touch with you.
Yeah, great. I have enjoyed this discussion, which I normally have every day. But I always like sharing, and anyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn or any tool, Instagram, and we can have a bit of a conversation about your sales funnels too. So yes, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jovana.